Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Logic Medico. Today's topic for presentation is laryngeal carcinoma, thus called as cancer of the larynx. So if you see in this video, what is the definition of laryngeal carcinoma, what are the etiology or the causes for laryngeal carcinoma, what are the classification of laryngeal carcinoma, and mainly the symptoms and the treatment options available for laryngeal carcinoma. All this will be covered in this video. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell button for the latest notification. Now the first up, the definition of laryngeal carcinoma. It is a disease in which the malignant cells form in the tissues of the larynx. It can be in any tissue of the larynx, any within the wall or the components of the wall, or especially the inner lining. The inner lining of the larynx is called laryngeal mucosa. Because we inhale so many dust, toxins, everything along with the air which is extremely polluted in urban environment. So the laryngeal mucosa will get triggered or irritated by these pollutants, resulting in a response of uncontrolled irreversible growth of the cells called as tumor or cancer or carcinoma. So it's a malignant tumor. Okay. So there are two types of tumor, benign and malignant. Benign is a milder version, and the malignant is a more serious version. Okay. So coming to the classification of laryngeal carcinoma, they are classified into following: glottic tumors. These are the tumors which are present in the level of glottis. Subglottic tumors. These are the tumors present at the subglottic area of the larynx. Supraglottic tumors. These are the tumors present in supraglottic area of the larynx. So what is this exactly? We'll see. This is the larynx. Okay. In the larynx, where the vocal cord is placed, is a cut section of larynx. Vocal cord or shelf-like projection in the interior of the larynx, which produces the voice. That area is called the glottic area. Any area above that region in the larynx is called supraglottic or superior portion of the larynx. Any area below that portion is called as infraglottic portion of the larynx. So, a tumor arising from this area will be called as above the glottis. What is it? Yes, supraglottic tumor. The tumor arising at the level of the vocal cord level, this area, the vocal cord is also called glottic. So it's called glottic tumor or glottic cancer. The tumor arising from below this level within the larynx, below the glottic level, is called infraglottic or subglottic. Infra means inferior, sub also means inferior. So these are the three types of three different variants of laryngeal carcinoma: supraglottic, glottic or subglottic. Coming to the etiology of laryngeal carcinoma, first and foremost, cigarette smoking is the first and foremost dangerous cause for laryngeal carcinoma, in which it will trigger the laryngeal mucosa to manifest as squamous cell carcinoma. Okay, so cigarette smoke contains more than 7,000 chemicals which can result in laryngeal carcinoma. One of the component is nicotine. Next component is alcoholism. So alcohol in combination with smoking is deadly for getting laryngeal carcinoma, because the number of toxins absorbed into the bloodstream is more in this combination. So that is a second etiology. Next etiology is occupational risk factors. Those workers who are working in asbestos factory, wood dust factories, mustard gas, petroleum products factories. See, all these workers, these chemicals, they are inhaling. If you go to one petrol pump to fill in your vehicle, you can get that smell of petroleum product, right? So the person who is actually delivering these petroleum products, they are at a risk of getting laryngeal carcinoma. Same thing holds good for a person like a carpenter who is working with wood. He is inhaling a lot of dust, so that has to be avoided, or he has to wear mask for the preventive measures, otherwise he will end up in laryngeal carcinoma. Inhalation of noxious fumes, toxic fumes coming from factories, chimneys, all these fumes, because of urbanization, there is no difference between a factory and a residential area. Factory will be right next to the residential area. Okay, so what happens? The noxious fumes coming out of this factory should be delivered at a much higher level when compared to the residential area. It should not reach the residential area. If it reaches, then the people who are there in that residential area next to the factories will end up getting laryngeal carcinoma. Next etiology is any person who is having chronic laryngitis or voice abuse. they may have a risk factor to develop laryngeal carcinoma. I'm not telling always, but they may have a risk to develop laryngeal carcinoma. What is the pathophysiology involved in the development of laryngeal carcinoma? All these etiological factors, the smoking, alcoholism, this asbestos, dust, all these etiological factors, including chronic laryngitis and vocal abuse, results in a trigger in the laryngeal mucosa, so that the mucosal epithelium changes from ciliated columnar epithelium, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, that is the respiratory epithelium, into a stratified squamous epithelium with keratin, similar to the skin. This change of one epithelium to another epithelium is called metaplasia. Subsequently, it undergoes dysplasia, that is disorganized arrangement of these cells. Subsequently, there will be uncontrolled, irreversible, rapid mitotic division of these cells in the laryngeal mucosa, resulting in carcinoma of the larynx. So the epithelium is now stratified squamous epithelium. So it is a swelling, it is a tumor which has been developed within the larynx. All these tumor cells undergo rapid metastasis, meaning spread into the regional lymph nodes and also into the lungs, because larynx has got abundant amount of lymphatics or lymph vessels. Because of this, the regional lymph nodes, the pre and para-laryngeal, pre and para-tracheal lymph nodes, deep cervical group of lymph nodes, and within the lung there will be deposits of these tumor cells. The spread of the laryngeal carcinoma is very rapid. That is a pathophysiology involved in the laryngeal carcinoma. Coming to the clinical feature, interestingly, the clinical feature in laryngeal carcinoma varies with respect to the region. So, in case of supraglottic carcinoma, aspiration is the first symptom which they develop, meaning whenever they are eating food or drinking water, they tend to inhale that because of the lack of sensation in this area due to involvement of internal laryngeal nerve. So they tend to aspirate on swallowing. So thereby they have cough reflex and sneezing reflex in the initial part. Subsequently, they end up aspirating, getting lung infection. Then frequently they get sore throat, unilateral sore throat. Only one side the sore throat is there, wherever the tumor is arising, either in the right wall, left wall, posterior wall, or anterior wall. The sore throat is there. Then they feel a foreign body sensation inside the throat. Dysphagia, that is difficulty in swallowing, will be there because the mass within the larynx is obstructing the pharynx and esophagus. Weight loss, most of the carcinoma will present with weight loss or emaciation of the patient. Mass in the neck, that is swelling in the neck, which may present like that also. Hemoptysis, coughing out of the blood will be there because the tumor cells is highly vascular. These are the symptoms of supraglottic carcinoma. Next, glottic carcinoma. Glottic carcinoma. In this, the tumor is present at this level where the vocal cord is there. So what can be the first symptom? Vocal cord level. Hoarseness of voice, if you are told. It's a correct answer. A sudden change in the voice in an elderly male or female patient, you should suspect glottic carcinoma. That is voice changes, sudden voice change or hoarseness of voice. Sorry for the spelling. Hemoptysis, that is coughing out of the blood. Dyspnea, difficulty in breathing, because this portion is the narrowest portion of the larynx. So the person will have dyspnea or difficulty in breathing. Even respiratory obstruction is possible with this patient. Dysphagia, that is difficulty in swallowing because of tumor present on the posteriorly of the esophagus, resulting in dysphagia, difficulty in swallowing. Weight loss, tumor has got highly vascular, it derives all the nutrition, so the person will get emaciated or weight loss will be there. So main important symptom is in glottic carcinoma is a voice change or hoarseness of voice. Whereas in the supraglottic carcinoma it was aspiration of the food or the water with frequent coughing and sneezing. Then pain is there in the throat for the patient with glottic carcinoma. Next, subglottic carcinoma. Clinical feature is mainly dyspnea. The subglottic area, the tumor is there, means it will obstruct for normal breathing, so the person will have difficulty in breathing and airway obstruction. Dysphagia, the tumor will press posteriorly onto the pharynx and esophagus, so the patient will have difficulty in swallowing. Weight loss as usual. Hemoptysis, coughing out of the blood. So these were the symptoms of laryngeal carcinoma. Coming to the diagnostic aspect of laryngeal carcinoma. How to diagnose this? Physical examination shows that there is a mass in the neck along with lymph node enlargement, and that mass is present in the larynx area. The larynx area is anterior midline of the neck, lower anterior midline of the neck, just above the sternum. Indirect laryngoscopy mirror use and see can make out that there is a mass, especially supraglottic and glottic carcinoma is visualized, but subglottic cannot be seen easily. Direct laryngoscopy is a much better method to see subglottic carcinoma. You have to ask the patient to take a deep breath. That time there will be abduction of vocal cord and you can see the laryngeal carcinoma. Endoscopy is a more confirmatory method in which you can take the biopsy also from that level. A camera is placed with a wire connected to that, a flexible endoscope. It is passed through the laryngeal inlet after taking suitable aseptic precaution. CT scan and MRI scan will not only confirm the diagnosis but also tells the extent of the tumor, how much it is extended. Is it limited to the larynx itself or surrounding area it has spread? Lymph node involvement, how much is there, only regional or distant? And even lung metastasis. Always it is better to take the biopsy of that to confirm what tumor it is. Is it an epithelial tumor or is it the tumor arising from the fibrous tissue or a cartilaginous tissue? More often than not, epithelial tumor is common in larynx because it arises from laryngeal mucosa. So biopsy always confirms the diagnosis of what type of tumor it is. Now the treatment aspect of the laryngeal carcinoma. Medical line of treatment includes radiation therapy, that is exposure to X-rays 5 days a week for minimum of 5 to 8 sittings or 5 to 8 weeks duration. Each sitting lasts for 5 days a week. Next, surgical management is actually a treatment of choice in most of the patients. So the surgical treatment options are laser surgery. If the tumor is limited itself to the vocal cord only, if you diagnose at stage 1, then laser surgery is possible by excising the tumor from the vocal cord. Other surgical treatment options are partial laryngectomy or vertical partial laryngectomy, where the removal of half of the larynx or more than half of the larynx is done. In that, supraglottic laryngectomy for carcinoma in the supraglottic region, required partial laryngectomy for confined transglottic, meaning throughout the vocal cord it is spread, above that, below that, and on the vocal cord. That time you have to do partial laryngectomy. Next treatment option, surgical treatment, total laryngectomy. For glottic tumors, more often than not, we should end up doing total laryngectomy. Cervical lymph node dissection also has to be done. Either the lymph nodes are removed en masse, means the entire lymph node is removed, that's called radical neck dissection, or you can preserve few lymph nodes, that is called modified radical neck dissection. What are the complications of the surgery? Hemorrhage, severe bleeding can be there in the surgery. Airway obstruction, that is trachea, laryngeal obstruction, difficulty in breathing, saturation may fall down. Carotid artery, the neighboring blood vessel, the main blood vessel supplying the brain can undergo rupture. Fistula formation, abdominal anomalous tract can form. Those were the possible complications of laryngeal surgery. Coming to the nursing care for partial laryngectomy, we should assess the arterial blood gas level, pulse oximetry, FiO2 levels, semi-flowers to high flowers position, that is from a lower position to a higher position, that's called flowers position, monitoring the oxygen therapy, and tracheostomy care, the suction tube has to be properly taken care of. Chest physiotherapy has to be done because the patient is bedridden and you have to clear the secretions. Nebulization also has to be done. For total laryngectomy, what is the nursing care? Nutrition of the patient is the most important. Tube feeding has to be done. Oral feeding with fluids and semi-soft foods has to be done. Communication to the patient is extremely important in these cases because they will be depressed. So we should ask the patient to communicate with a pen and paper or a communication board. Never ever avoid conversation with the patient thinking that they are not able to communicate. It will build up frustration and depression in the patient. Artificial larynx is tried within a week of surgery. What is this artificial larynx? If the patient places the larynx next to just beneath the chin, it will induce vibration. They can use the articulators and resonators to produce the voice. That is also called electrolarynx. It's called artificial larynx. It's a rehabilitation procedure. Like and share this video. Don't forget to press the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell button for the latest notification. If you like this video, kindly comment, ask your doubts, share this video with your friends. Happy learning. Thank you once again.